I want to talk real quick today about changing roles and what that does to us and how it impacts our human nature. Back when I was at the restaurant, one of the places I worked at was very fine dining. It was top 50 most romantic restaurants in the country, and it was we had a maitre d. Maitre d was somebody who would kind of host the guests, greet the guests, and then seat the guests, and kind of oversaw the operations on the dining room floor. Just kind of like a maestro of how things operated. And sometimes he would take the night off on like a Monday or Tuesday if it was a little bit slower, and sometimes we'd have a fill in maitre d, and sometimes if reservations were light, we wouldn't. And I can remember some of those nights where all of a sudden I have to greet a guest who's walked into the restaurant. And I would get nervous. Like, I would get nervous greeting somebody, which was ridiculous because I would greet thousands, hundreds of guests at my tables over the years. I obviously knew how to say hello and interact and seat somebody. Um, and I was frustrated a little bit at first, and then I started to realize that it was because I was assuming a different role. And that assumption of a different role that was not mine could, in some ways, induce stress, or whether it was maybe confusion, or maybe I said, okay, hey, I'm doing my role with excellence, and maybe I feel like I'm not performing in this role with as much excellence as I'm used to, and that creates frustration, especially in high performers and people that are very clear, have the routines. And so, the thought for today is we are developing some different roles. I swear to you, it's warmer out than what my breath is indicating. Maybe that's just when you live in Michigan. You got to get outside. It feels right, even though I swear it's warmer than, who knows? Where was I? New roles can be stressful. High performers, you're a high performer in one area, all of a sudden you feel like maybe you're not performing as well in others. So a couple quick things. One is to kind of create a checklist, ensuring that what it is that you're still doing is maintaining that bar of excellence, even though it might be looking different. The second thing is ensuring that you have clarity, boundaries around maybe a new role or a new type of role. So maybe you're a high performer. Now you're in a completely remote environment. You're unsure if you're still performing and winning for your manager. So find a way to ask that question. Hey, just want to make sure I'm fulfilling the duty. I know this is crazy change. I just want to make sure in this capacity I'm still winning for you. And as a manager, as a leader, we have to try and really create that clarity. Now, this is not this is not black and white. This is not micromanagement to the T. This is saying, instead of going bowling with no bumpers, let's put some bumpers up. Let's make sure that these roles are clear, because human nature wants to know that it's winning. And when human nature doesn't know, it oftentimes defaults to I'm losing. And so in this time of uncertainty, we have to get clarity for ourselves in our current role. Maybe it's shifted, and maybe a new role, it's shifted. Get those bumpers in place. And then as leaders, we also have to help apply those bumpers and get them in place.